have 12 states which are present here today. Each state presented their position, the kind of challenges that they're facing and the kind of solutions that they've come out with. Vishal is the Commissioner for Public Instruction, Government of Karnataka. And sir, we are expecting you to speak about the challenges in implementation.
Good afternoon, everybody. My physiology professor used to always tell me, never go post-lunch for a talk. Second, even during normal times, anybody has 17 minutes attention span. So I can straight away take away 10 minutes here, so I have 7 minutes. What I'm going to do today is just 3 things. First, tell you what are the challenges I face in the implementation. Second, I will not talk on Kpmtcc because you people are all punters in that. I will leave the floor then to questions. You have specific questions, I will reply to them. Okay, fine. I had 1 crore 6 lakh children. Even during the peak of COVID, not many people know, 85 lakh children were going to schools. This is because we ensured that logistics are in place. The American Army, Armed Forces, they have this dialogue. Whether they won the Second World War or they go into various things, they have this particular phrase. Amateurs talk logistics. Amateurs talk strategy. Professionals talk logistics. I will not get into saying, oh, NEP we will do this, NEP we will do that. Actually, on a day-to-day basis, we are doing it. What are we doing? First, why does a child come to my school? Anybody can tell us? Why does a child come to my school? I'm not telling to Mr. Shashi Kumar's school or your schools. Why does a child come to my school? Anybody? Anybody? Food. First is midday meal. First is the midday meal. That's why I say in my schools first. That's why I said very clearly my schools. First is for the midday meal. Very interesting. Shashi Kumar was just speaking to me now on certain things. What are the nutrients in my midday meal? Anybody? I'm just asking. See, I can tell you everything, but if you do not apply yourself, it will not help me. First, we have started fortified rice, which is iron. Second, we give the weekly iron and folic acid supplementation. Third, we do the deworming once or twice a year. Fourth, we give Shira Bhagya milk to drink. Last, we give eggs in 7 districts of North Karnataka. Children come to my schools, government schools, first for the food, second to play and meet other children, third is to study. So you understand. Now what does your NEP talk about? First get them to the school. I'm getting them to the school. Second, whether, now once a child comes to school, the next question which comes to me is it enough if a child comes to school? No. Whether I've got teacher to that school. 1 crore 6 lakh children. In my setup, I have about 50 lakh children. I have about 48,000 schools. 48,000 schools. 44,000 are primary, 4,000 are secondary schools. The PTR ratio, Shashi Kumar avare tamdu PTR ratio eshtu? What's your PTR ratio in your schools?
Usually 1:2.
Pupil teacher ratio, average.
1:25-30.
Government schools, believe it or not, it ranges between 1:18 to 1:35. My average PTR is 1:23. Not many people know this. Every 23 children are actually having one teacher in our schools. Now that's where it comes. This is the macro number. How do you ensure that the children get proper feedback, proper support from everybody around? This depends on, ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಬಹಳ ಮಂದಿ ಬೇರೆ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಗಳಿಂದ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀರಿ. ತುರುವಿನಕೆರೆಯಿಂದ ಒಬ್ರು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ನನಗೆ, ಗ್ರಾಮಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ರಿ, ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟು ಫಿಫ್ತ್ 300-400 ಮೀಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ವಿತ್ 300 to 400 meters of that school, I'm coming to that. Between 300 to 400 meters of one primary school, there is one more primary school. Each school has 8 to 10 children only. Some of them have 5 or 6. We did the thumb rule estimation. I have 300 schools in Karnataka now, which have 0 students. Okay? Less than 10 students is about 2,000 schools. Less than 20 students is about 4,000 schools. If I really want to ensure many of my basics, I'm not even talking about the NEP 2020, to ensure a teacher is there to teach, I need to consolidate. How do I consolidate? Is by utilizing the selection process for teachers, by utilizing something called the Transfer Act. If you want NEP to succeed here, keeping the children at the front, get the Transfer Acts in place first. Ensuring teachers are there where students are there. Ensure your roads are there. Ensure your transportation bus passes run. See, ultimately I will not be able to achieve anything under NEP 2020 unless you co-opt other departments. Other departments become the key. For 3 years, I've headed the Rural Drinking Water and Sanitation Department. We do the Jal Jeevan mission. 25 lakh households, we gave taps. 60,000 schools, many small, these everywhere, we ensured water supply is given under the Jal Jeevan mission. Many of the girls' schools, we ensured incinerators are installed. Many of the places, we ensured that the solid waste management happens. I'm not saying we have achieved everything, but there has been a great push. We have a lot of dropout for 3 things in a school: lack of drinking water, lack of proper toilets, lack of other sanitation availabilities. Many people said, oh, we should use the Suchi napkins and finish it. Girls will start coming to school. It doesn't work like that. What works is whether you have given water in the toilets. What works whether you have put in proper sanitation disposal in your places. We do the midday meal. Lot of pressure on us to do pre-packed chickies in plastics. We kept telling, we do not want to get into a centralized model of procuring things. More decentralized, more local vegetables, more local eggs, more local chickies, more local bananas. By this, I have 3 advantages. Fresh, it is available. At a cheaper cost, it is available. Third, it is eminently disposable in the local waste bin, in your local tippe gundi, as we call it, the vermicompost pit. If we are able to understand that schooling has to be across sectors, it cannot be only the education department. There's this very, very nice dialogue which we always talk about administration. War is too important to be led to only generals. Politics is too important to be led to only politicians. Education is too important to be led to only educationists. So we have to bring this perspective in place. Triple SA, very, very controversial. I am actually the chairman of the subcommittee to recommend in Karnataka. I have said there are certain regulatory roles which should remain with the regulation, which is the government. There will be certain standard setting, assessment and accreditation policy, which has to be worked out in detail. As we have further discussions, we will attend to it in future. I will not say anything more. I will take questions.
I am Madhusudan. I came from Telangana state. I am from Hyderabad. So across India, it was observed that the accreditation regulations for private schools are very stringent, but there are many certain regulations for the child safety which are not being implemented in the government schools. Why there is a disparity in the students who are in the government schools and in the private schools?
Well, you can't ask the commissioner such questions.
I am asking in a child's perspective, not in the management's perspective, because every child has a right to have the safety and whatever the regulations are there, and then they should have the equality.
I totally agree with you. I can't defend myself on that. But my practical challenges are administrative, legal, and financial. Do I have the financial capacity to take care of everything? If I say yes, then I'll have to cut other departments' allocation, BBMP allocation, electricity allocation. My budget is 23,000 crores. My salary bill is 19,000 crores. For every improvement, even if I give 5,000 rupees, I'm just saying 5,000 rupees, untied fund to 50,000 schools, imagine the multiplier effect. Can I close my schools so that I put better infrastructure in the school? He's the Gram Panchayat Adhyaksha. He's the vice chairman of the Gram Panchayat. Both are in the same village. There are two schools. He will not allow me to close his. He will not allow me to close his. These are not just financial decisions. These are politico-administrative decisions. Ideally, if I'm able to ensure co-opting both of you, co-opting the teachers, saying that this is what we will do, we will not disturb you, it will work. Because even if one teacher feels that he will lose going from this school to some other school, he or she will try to ensure that school remains open. And then what I could have invested to make this school better, I will not be able to. See, ultimately it is just not financial. It is the administrative and legal things which add on to this. So I can't fully defend myself, but I'm telling you my limitations, how it works. You as a private person can decide. For government, it is not so easy. Madam, I'll just finish, madam. I kindly lift up the hand. I will request you. Yes.
Good afternoon, sir. Your presentation was indeed very interesting. Two quick questions. Just wanted to know how many government schools are there in Karnataka, just for us.
48,000.
48.
44 primary, 4,000 secondary.
Okay.
I have 1,91,000 teachers, about 25,000 non-teaching staff. Out of 1,91,000, secondary school teachers are about 52,000. Rest of them are primary school teachers. We are now recruiting graduate primary teachers for 6, 7, 8. First to fifth, we already have excess number of primary school teachers. We are also going to recruit secondary school teachers. In Karnataka, secondary school is 9th and 10th. First to 8th is primary. 11th and 12th is considered to be pre-university education.
Thank you, sir. And the second question would be, what is the road map for NEP in Karnataka? Do you have anything in mind right now?
I'll tell it in 30 seconds. NEP is evolving. What I'm doing today is NEP. I'm recruiting 15,000 teachers plus 17,500 teachers. I'm strengthening my regional institute of English, South India, which is in Jnanabhati campus. We are ensuring the transfer process is transparent. We are going for the P4R for the World Bank to have additional classrooms. We are ensuring under the technology assisted learning program, additional technology coming in. We are having a Namma Shale Nanna Koduge portal where CSR persons can participate. 192 crores of textbooks I'm printing which are being revised and done in a time-bound manner. We are giving uniforms, we are giving food, we are doing so many things. All this is a part of an evolving NEP. There is nothing like new thing which is going to come. Maybe our perspective is going to change here or there. But as they say, the more you reinvent the wheel, you realize same things come back.
Sir,
Yeah.
as you said, that you have the limitations. Doesn't it imply to the private schools also?
What did he say?
Sir, you said you have some limitations of your own.
Everybody has limitations.
Yeah, doesn't it imply to the private schools, sir?
What sir is, what he's saying is, you talked about the limitation of government. Doesn't the same rule apply to private schools as well?
Yes. Yes.
Then if you have this stricture posed on us, how do we go to solve that?
It's a question of see, I personally believe, I've been telling this to Shashi also. I believe that education has to be run as a robust, dependable business.
That's what, everything comes in.
Okay. If this business model does not work for you, please don't put your hands into it. Please don't come and argue with us.
No.
I will humor you because ठीक है, आपने इधर बुलाया है मुझे, आपसे बात कर लूँगा. But if we get into this saying, what are you going to do? Are you trying to close my schools? It's not possible, yeah. See, let's look at pragmatism. I will run my schools. If you want your schools to have something, either adhere to the law or don't. If you don't want to adhere, challenge my decision. Let someone else take the decision. Because we can always have this discussion saying, leave this. You can give vent to your angst, but doesn't solve things. Doesn't solve things. So let's do what's possible.
So when such is the situation, sir, when we can have a dialogue with each other.
No,
Why
not
somebody-
with each other, you tell
No,
me.
why somebody else to interrupt in this and give the decision for that, like the court or somebody else?
See, I will not get into an argument. I've told what is my stance. Accept it or reject it, it's left to you.
Let's
Then
have the
the
next
problem will not be
participant.
solved, sir.
There are a lot of questions, sir. You have to spare time. Dr. Srinivasan has a question.
Yeah, Srinivasan sir.
Please pass the mic to Srinivasan, and the gentleman in safari suit, you can pass the mic to him. Sir, one nimsha. Let sir start. Sir, let him start and then we can take you.
Sir, there is a PAL in the Supreme Court saying that one nation should have one kind of education. Do you think we can achieve that in the near future?
Dr. Srinivasan, you'll have to be a little louder. We couldn't get you.
One nation, one education. There is a PIL in the Supreme Court. How long do you think we will take
We
to
are a
achieve that?
federal setup, yeah. Huh? We are a federal setup. There is always diversity in so many things that we do. So it should be there in education also.
Sir, good afternoon, sir. Dr. Shrita Vishal sir is running 42,000 schools,
48,000.
48,000 school. Mr. Shashikumar is running nearly 1 lakh. No. I am not telling. He is running
What is
128.
your point? What is your point?
You are running on 48. He is running 128 lakhs schools like that. Why? Both are both eyes to the society. One eyes is getting so much pain, PWD and fire. Why other eyes is not getting? Please give me treatment.
He's talking about the difference. Why PWD and fire is applicable to private schools, but the same rule does not apply to government schools. That is his question.
Please.
After all, child is a child, whether it is in private or government. Why the different rules are for government school students and why the different rules are for private school students?
Eyes.
I can't
Please.
keep telling the same joke again and again. Huh?
Please guide us to lead happily
I
our
can't
schools.
keep telling that. Don't ask the commissioner this question. But
Aye,
anyway, since you are asking me this, please appreciate.
Yes, yes, sir.
This is
Really.
government. Even before you came in, we were there. Even before you, after you go, we will be there. We will
Yes.
run this because of our limitations. You have limitations. Decide whether you want to run a school or not. Decide whether you want to run a school. If you want, follow. If not, I can't help it, yeah.
No, sir, not like that. Why that is escape?
We'll move on.
Guide
Sir,
us to escape
we'll
from
move
this,
on. There's so
please.
many people.
Yes.
Can we move on? Please pass the mic to the lady in the last row. Okay.
You tell me, sir. You tell me, sir.
This is Mr. Atul. He's from Uttar Pradesh. He heads the association there. So we'll give him the
sir,
opportunity, and then the
one
lady in the
question.
last row.
In NEP, TPLSA, they mentioned that you will, government will form an independent body. Then how you will lose your power to form an independent body to regulate all school, private as well as government school? In TPLSA, they have mentioned
Sir.
that government will form an
Atul-
independent body.
Atulji,
And how the government will lose their grip to form this independent body to regulate all school, private school as well as the government school. So how you will react on that?
We will decide what they can regulate. NEP it's a policy. It's a policy. Once we take the policy, it is not in toto applicable for everything. We have to see what is relevant to our state and decide. I may decide to do this, Telangana may decide to do something else. It is not binding on us to follow everything. The basic principles have been laid. We will decide what we accept, what we don't.
Conclusion is that you will not lose your power to form the independent body.
See, you can make your assumptions. Still, we are in a premature stage. We have to have discussions. We have to understand each other, see how it can work, so in the best interest of the education sector. We cannot decide, hey, either this or that. All or none phenomenon is only in the neurons. It is not there in anywhere else in the world. Okay, so we'll have to look at it, see what works, and get that organized. So it's our model is our model. Tamil Nadu model is Tamil Nadu model. You have to accept it and work along.
Okay, thank you.
The person in the last row, she raised her hand. Is she available?
Hello.
Yeah.
Madam.
Mr. Commissioner, are you trying to say that it is the open market scenario? If you can survive, you survive. Survival of the fittest. If the choice has to be of the edupreneur, I think the ball is in the court of the parent. Let the parent decide it. And I guess they have decided with whom to go. With all your integration of government schools, closing down of government schools.
I'll restrict it to my my sector, my state.
Yeah, sir, limitations come conveniently, and the very word limitation is very convenient.
No,
like
it is
as
not.
commissioner, it is my limitation.
Madam,
As entrepreneur, it is their.
Madam, once you ask a question, you have to give time for an answer.
Yeah.
So
If you are
please.
asking a question or you want to make a speech, you decide. I thought I had to make.
No, I want to outs my angst.
Okay.
Thank you.
The logic is this. I have schools in each and every corner of the state. We have the convenience, we have the assurance that we will give your child a schooling. We may not be able to give the standard of schooling which every parent expects. This is the first point. Second point, if the parent wants to put in a private school or a government school, that is the autonomous decision of the parent also. Can I compete with private schools? In some places I can. Can I compete at all places? Difficult. Even within the private sector, some of you can compete with each other, but can you compete against everybody equally? Difficult. So we have to understand this. This is not a matter of government versus private. This is a practical thing which is there. So everywhere we cannot have revolutions. There is an incremental improvement we have to do, whether it is in our setup or in your setup. That's all it comes to.
No, we'll have to go to the last question. I'm going to the person in the last row.
Sir, do government schools don't have the concept of RR?
See, please understand. The act and rules start with registration and recognition. Government schools cannot be recognized because we only set them up.
Sir, and one more thing I want to ask. If there is no strength of 25 in SLC, they have to renew every year. So why don't you apply the same rules for government schools? Because there will not be even one student, then also a school will be running. What is this?
Again, I'm saying.
Sir, don't partially between the government and private schools.
ಈ ತರ ನಿಮ್ ಜೊತೆ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ.
Okay, let's,
Sir,
ready sir?
sir.
Let's wind up. We still
Sir.
have 2 more sessions to go.
Sir.
So if, Dr.
Sir.
Vishal, with your permission, would you want to take more questions?
I will take 2 questions which are relevant to the topic at hand.
Is it relevant to the topic?
ಯಾರು ಕೂಡ ಇಲ್ಲಿ NEP 2020 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ 8 ಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಿದ್ದ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪೂರಕವಾಗಿದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಮಾಡೋಣ. ನಮ್ಗೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಬೇರೆ ವೇದಿಕೆ ಇದೆ ಅಥವಾ ಅವ್ರ ಕಚೇರಿಗೆ ಹೋದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗಿ ಉತ್ತರ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. NEP ಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು ಇವತ್ತಿನ ವಿಷಯಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು ನಿಮಗೇನಾದ್ರೂ ಮಾತನಾಡೋದಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾತಾಡಿ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್. ನೋ ಅದರ್ ಡಿವಿಯೇಷನ್ಸ್.
Hello Vishal sir, this is Aisha. I met you earlier last week. Mine is not a question, it's a proposal for you. We all private unaided school teachers are waiting. When will Nishtha 1, 2 and 3 be applicable for the private unaided teachers? There are government teachers who have been certified with Nishtha 1, 2
Madam,
and 3 modules.
is it a question?
It's a proposal for sir where I want
Proposal,
sir,
I
please,
think, Dr.
please
Vishal.
try to implement it. Yes, sir will definitely consider because he's a good responder. He's a quick responser. He has done that during for the first Karnataka for the teachers package, COVID package. I have met him. I know him very well. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Please try to implement this certification course for the private unaided school teachers. Please.
I have a very quick question, sir.
He's from Telangana.
I know.
the NEP says that there should be an independent regulatory authority, SSSA, which will regulate both the government and private schools, and then it will give a lot of autonomy to the private schools. Is it just like we have tried DGCA?
What is your question? Come to your question.
So are you welcoming it, or how are you looking at it, and then how your government is taking this SSSA constitution?
Okay. One of the oldest regulatory bodies in India is the Reserve Bank of India. You heard? I think all of us must have heard of it. Mr. Y.V. Reddy, he was the finance secretary, he was the RBI governor, etc. He was there between 2007 during the crisis. The RBI was about 70 years old at that time, 60, 70 years old, Y.V. Reddy. So he said a very interesting thing, which always I remember. They asked him, Mr. Reddy, do you think the RBI is autonomous? Mr. Reddy, do you think RBI is autonomous? He said, yes, the RBI is autonomous, and to the extent the government also discusses with me on this. Okay. See, autonomy cannot mean I am independent, I am a republic on my own. What will happen if the regulator completely goes berserk? Where is the control on it? I become the regulator, you don't have control on me, and I go berserk. How do you control that? That's a bigger disaster. You make sure, saying that regulatory body has the powers to open or close a school whichever it wants, which does not follow safety parameters. So Shashi comes to me, he says, sir, this is my school, surrounding there are 4 government schools, safety parameters are not there, as per my complaint, as per the provisions of the act, close it. Then I'll have to close so many schools. So it is not as easy as we see. Any regulatory body has to be understood, has to be designed to see what it wants to do and how it is relevant to Karnataka. A policy is just a policy document. How we prepare the body, what are the responsibilities, transparency, accountability, we'll have to put in. But we cannot give this body into anybody's hand to hold us a chokehold later. We have to be very, very clear on that. Government is ultimately responsible to the people. A body cannot say, I'm not responsible to anybody. Thank you very much.